You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 2 of Old Movie Time Machine. Here, it's premiere week. We did one yesterday for you. We are back with a new old movie that we're going to talk about today. On this show, by the way, we use color films made in the old US of A between the years of 1945 and 1965 as windows into the past. We climb through these windows, and we have a little poke around, and we examine the world as it was during this very pivotal time following the Second World War. And we're going to be asking some questions while we do this. So we're asking things like, who are these people? What are their habits? How are they treating one another? What decisions are they making? And why? Also, what are they wearing? And what do their living rooms look like? And at the end of the show, we will ask the vital question. This is a new part. We didn't have this yesterday, you'll notice, but this is a new thing that we've settled on here. It just seems to make sense, you guys. Roll with it. We're going to ask the vital question on behalf of all of humanity. Do we keep watching this? Is this, you pass this on to your children or what? Can we just kind of like shelve this for good? Is there anything good here happening? We're going to find out. I'm Justin Zeppa, by the way. I will be your guide through time and or space. And I'm joined as ever by my international panel of experts. To my left, Katherine Sherlock. Welcome to the program, Katherine.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. And to your left, Shrishma Naik is in the house.
Hi, guys. What's up?
She is here. Feeling a little under the weather, but she's powering through. Right. We've got one more co-host on our international panel of experts. It's my sister and yours, Carolyn Naoroz. Carolyn, welcome back to the program. Glad to see you.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Day 2 of premiere week. I know you're pumped. I can see it.
I am so pumped.
Yeah. This week, we're talking about 1959's Pillow Talk. Crew. Mm-hmm. Listen. So wow. for the listener, welcome to Old Movie Time Machine. Did I say the name? I think I started with that. We'll get better at this. Well, tight intro, you guys. Remember? Right. Tight intro, breezy chat. That's the rule in our office.
I won't ask questions.
Shrishma, you're not allowed any more questions.
Listen.
You've had your one for this episode.
The next 2 hours, not a peep from you. So we have a little shared chat that we talk about the show coming up and, all the pertinent coordination information that you, the listener, do not need to know. But tell you, Pillow Talk caused a bit of a stir as far as this is the movie we're watching. Huh? And here we are talking about Pillow Talk. Katherine, I'm going to start with you. Mm-hmm. Do you have a one-line review of Pillow Talk that you'd like to share with us?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I do. Hang on a second.
Sure.
Right. So, for me, it just really was a story where a professional woman is continuously harassed and pranked by man babies. Because
Pillow Talk, also known as man babies.
Pranked by man babies.
Because ladies, you'll put up with anything to get married, right? Right? No.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Controversy. Great take, by the way. Speaking of great takes, we do something on one of our other podcasts that we do. It's called a Shrishma Naik take or a hot snake.
Hot snakes.
Shrisma, what is your one-line review?
Get the fuck out of here. Actually, I have another one. Also.
Okay, sure. We'll take that. We have a surplus of one-liner. Okay, hit us.
Well, it's not a one-liner. So I think this is like the original Catfish movie.
For real.
Or before true. Catfishing was a concept. I think he was he set the scene for it.
Yes.
And so, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
it was painful to watch. Let's just say that.
I apologize.
I think that's the point of these movies is to elicit these responses.
It's an evaluation,
Right.
And who knows? Hey, listener, I know we blast out these one-line reviews, and you're like, well, then why do I listen to the rest of the program? We're just going to give you the reasons.
Right.
Hashtag reasons, right?
Right.
We make, we're known for a couple of things. We're known for watching old movies, obviously. It's in the title. Number 2, we're known for a great cup of coffee. I mean, the coffee flows like wine here, folks. Number 3.
As does the wine.
We're not, indeed. And number 3, there was a big build up to number 3.
We talk shit.
We talk shit. What were we talking about before?
Controversial opinions.
Balls.
Sorry, I threw you off.
This might be an edit out, and you get to redo it when you remember your third point.
There's a third point. What is this show known for? Hey everybody, Jay-Z here. Since we do have access to a time machine, that's how we make the program. I thought I would dip in here because the answer that had eluded past me is number 3, reasons. We make bold statements and then we back them up with solid reasons. Past me just said it. I don't know how he forgot. Fucking idiot. Anyway, back to the show. Doesn't matter. Hey, Carolyn, do you have a one-line? Do you have a one-line review? Yeah, would you like to share with the group?
Yes. My takeaway is that light switch operated rape locks are for him and for her.
You have to repeat.
Yes.
Can we repeat that one? Rape.
Give it one more time.
Yes. Light switch operated rape locks are for him and for her.
Mm-hmm.
Does this ring a bell for you? You remember this? Well, okay, we'll get into it. Is it also for her though?
Yeah.
She uses it at the end.
At the end.
Oh, okay. We have so much to get into here. My review, thank you, Carolyn, by the way. My review, you're absolutely right. I'm going with the least sexy sex comedy ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair.
Ooh, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
It wasn't steamy.
So this is the reason we chose this. Like, this is a rather well-known film in this genre, and it's kind of known as like a pioneering film in the genre or subgenre of sex comedy. We're having a great time, but it's also red hot.
The Amazon description of this movie starts off with saying that Doris Day is an uptight interior decorator, and I'm watching it saying, is she really uptight? She seems pretty cool and groovy and like
exactly. She's
her own woman,
right.
and she's living her life. Like, I don't think she's uptight.
No, she seems to be having a nice time.
Yeah.
She just wants to meet a nice man who will not treat her like a piece of meat.
Yes.
And she's annoyed that someone keeps occupying her phone line.
Indeed.
With his...
How do these party lines work?
Yeah,
Okay.
That was my
entire
question.
movie.
Okay.
I thought they were in the same building, and
Same
that's
here.
why they had
I had
a
the same
shared
thing.
line. So how is the phone company even making these party lines? They weren't even like on the same block potentially.
Yeah,
It looked like,
okay.
'cause he marches her down the street at the end to go to his apartment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to report that you guys, I have done some research.
Yes.
That's right.
There we go.
I sat on my couch with my phone and did a shallow Google, and here's what I came up with. First of all, just real quick for the listener, if you're not familiar with Pillow Talk, if for some reason you did not watch this movie, and should you go watch it? Yeah, be a part of the show. You want to be a part of this ride that we are about to embark on. This is two people, two strangers, a man and a woman. They share what is known as a party line, a shared telephone line. And there's an argument about he's always on the phone and he's having sexy talk with his many girlfriends, and she just wants to make a goddamn phone call, right?
A business call.
Yeah, a business call. And it's a problem. Eventually, they get together. End of movie.
Also, why is it called Pillow Talk and not named Party Line? I'm confused because it's never like they were in bed talking
together.
to one another.
Great point. They are one time, well, not together, but they are on the phone. But again,
The most
just call
bedtime
Party
we
Line.
see is when he drags her out of it like a heathen at the end of
Hey,
the film.
spoilers.
Just saying.
I know. So a party line, real quick, is after the Second World War, the installation of phone lines becomes a real priority. There's a huge backlog across the U.S. as far as having like individual phone lines. So what they would do, and usually this would happen in more rural areas where the infrastructure is not quite there yet, is the phone line is like one big circuit, one big loop. And then on that loop, you will have different people who have access to that line. And this was very common at the time. And then they reference in the film what's known as a trunk line. So I was digging into that a little bit. And the trunk line is basically bypasses the big loop with its many stops and additional want-to-be callers, and just goes right to like switchboards, a series of switchboards that will then direct your call and is known as a normal phone call. But a party line, crazy thing. And I guess phone culture had not developed to a point. Well, I mean, for Rock Hudson, it had clearly. I mean, he's on that blower all the time. Yeah.
Do they pay for it? Like, do they have to pay like per call, or like he's just on it and then they have to divide by the number of people on that line? Like, how does the finances?
I'll be honest with you. My understanding of the cost structure of 1950s telephony is minimal at best. It basically includes all of the words I just said to you.
I'm just saying,
some of which I kind of had to make up.
I'm just saying she might be uptight because she's having to pay for this man's what do you call it?
His phone sex.
Right.
Exactly. Which is not even. He's just
like playing the piano.
He's being a man, right? That's not, this is not an excuse. There's nothing excusable in this film. Because, my friends, Brad Allen, played by Mr. Rock Hudson, is in fact a psychopath. Mm-hmm. Doris Day plays Jan Morrow, who is a successful, I would assume, that's a push. I have no idea, but she is an interior designer.
She's pretty successful. I mean,
that's a nice flat that she has.
Yeah, she's got nice clothes.
Jonathan's trying to buy her cars. She's got like a totally like decked out pink apartment of her own.
So she's not spending a lot of her idle time talking to her fucking pillow about wishing she had a boy.
No.
I don't think she's turning in at night going, I just really want to get married.
I don't think so. She seems pretty content with her life. It's a good life. She got a drunk maid.
Right. She got a drunk maid and she's turning Jonathan down.
Yeah, exactly.
She's turning men down.
Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Jonathan. And he's probably actually the most reasonable man in the film.
Right.
Boy, that's really saying something. Oh, Jonathan. Okay, we'll meet Jonathan in a minute. So we go right into probably the signature thing of this movie is the triple split screen, or the intriguing, inventive split screen. And this is a wonderful device. This is arguably the best thing about this movie, actually.
Was this new? Like, was this like using this kind of split a new kind of thing?
I think so. I don't really, I can't really think of anything before this, before 1959, where this convention would be used, other than like maybe a direct split screen or whatever. But they're doing sort of like rectangles and rectangles, and the triple triangle right now. So we open again. Rock Hudson playing a man named Brad Allen. 2 first names, by the way. Always also suspicious.
Just to add in my internet search, that Doris Day is like 37 at the time of the release of this film, and Rock Hudson's 34. I always find that interesting because sometimes it's very hard in movies to determine how old the actor or actress
especially this era when everybody is
very grown up,
at least a borderline alcoholic, and definitely a chain smoker. So and eating a diet that maybe we wouldn't sign on for today. So it's really, I'm looking at a picture of Rock Hudson right now, and he looks like, I feel like he's my dad, I feel like he's.
Yeah. There's definitely a dad cardigan going on there.
Yeah.
You could tell me he's between 40 and 60, and I would believe it.
You're like, anywhere in there. Yeah. And while the content of this film is mostly deplorable. Yeah, well, mostly. We will see. There are just some objectionable things here. I have to tell you that Brad Allen right now is living what I would consider his best life. He is sitting at a baby grand piano in his posh bachelor pad. He is smoking. He is drinking coffees, and he is having a phone love. I mean, it's not proper phone sex, but read between the lines with. I believe this is a French woman at this opening scene here, while he's just playing, banging out some tunes or whatever. This is what more to life is there than this? If he was smart, he would have just ended this movie here, just continued on, not fucked around with the rest of it, the plot points. Just ignore it. Mm-hmm. Keep living this way, buddy. You're doing great. You're doing great. That's just me, though. So he is making sweet phone love to a French woman, and Doris/Jan just wants to make a phone call, and she's getting a little fussy about it, and she interrupts their chatting, and he is upset about it, of course, naturally.
Yeah, he's clearly laying some groundwork here and being interrupted. What
is also interesting about this, not only is he living this lifestyle, which again, I feel like, especially for the times, this is a wonderful lifestyle to be living. It's 9 a.m., they make the point. Mm-hmm. He is sucking down those cigs like nobody's business. Again, fully dressed in dad cardigan and all of that. And he is probably a half an hour away from his first cocktail, I would suggest.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a Bloody Mary on the piano.
So we meet this guy, Jonathan, who is a client of Jan's. He comes from a bit of older money. He is worth precisely $8 million in 1959 cash. And she is helping him decorate his office. But he's a fancy fellow, and this is really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I just did conversion of $8 million in
I just did that. That's just what I'm doing.
Okay. I'm like, do you want to know what that is?
So how much is this man worth today?
Catherine?
93 million.
Whoa!
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What did you get something similar?
Well, I got like 78 million, but who knows what I'm using or what I didn't even choose.
No, I have no idea. No. It's the top thing that came up on my searchy bit.
That's wow, shocking. Shocking how money works.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was thinking, well, 8 million.
Yeah.
By today's standards.
Yeah.
Okay, and especially also Icelandic krona.
Right.
But he is fabulously wealthy.
Yeah. He enough
Brad
to where
Allen, kiss my ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Get in the bin. Hello.
Brad doesn't need you. He's doing his own thing. He's smoking and having coffees and playing the piano and having phone sex
singing
at 9
to
a.m.
ladies.
He's living the life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this beautiful car that Jonathan drives up, he wants to give it to Jan. He's like, why won't you just be with me? I brought you this beautiful car.
Can I not just buy you?
Yeah. Now let me ask you, would this work for you?
Yes.
Yes.
You would, really? Yes. This is
he's a good
hardened,
guy.
cynical crew we have here. Because
but he's also not bad looking, and like his personality, I'd be like, I will own you.
This is, and I guess this is the idea of the film. These two characters, him versus Brad Allen. Just very different models of men, right? Of this era, and this one is a fancy man.
Yeah, both man babies in their own way.
Indeed,
absolutely. I would just like a financially well-off man baby. They're all man babies.
That would be.
I just
fine.
want one that's
this
financially
is true.
secure.
That's such a true statement.
No comment.
As the resident man baby at this table.
What would you like to say for yourself?
We then go back to Brad Allen's apartment. We get a different view of this bachelor lifestyle. And I would again ask you, how many ashtrays?
Oh, I would imagine a lot in this particular one.
Let's take a look around here.
Also, is that a bottle of beer by that lamp on the other side?
I think you have to. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a liquor bottle of some kind. I don't think it's beer. I bet you it's a scotch. Everybody's drinking scotch in 1959 is what we've learned. And in tribute to that, Catherine and I are also drinking some scotch right now.
Absolutely.
But stylistically, this is a very mid-century modern apartment.
And it is very masculine, I think.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Despite the number of lamps.
It's a very well-lit, well-controlled lighting situation.
Yeah, this is it. There's definitely options for all situations.
I'll tell you what I don't like, though.
What?
Wall-to-wall carpeting.
You don't like that?
Just a little bit. I'm more of a, give me a nice hardwood, and then let's put some nice rugs down, on top of that hardwood. So then we find out that Jonathan knows Brad Allen. Jonathan pops over to Brad's place. Guys, how many ashtrays? Here's what I got. We have at least one by the door, complimentary cigarette box for visitors. Also, we have one on the side table here.
Switch.
Also, again, either snuff box or cigarette box.
More cigarettes, I think.
Here are the rapey light switches that you referenced earlier. And then I think we have some down on the table here. So we have one, maybe two. Does that look like two to you?
Quite possibly.
Okay, so we're talking at least four. What do we have over here?
Oh, 5.
5. There's got to be one on that side of the table as well. 5 plus the 6 and 7. We had the urinal and then the cover-up one in the initial shot. So we've got 7 different ashtrays at this point.
One room.
I'm just going to make a note of that real quick. We need to start keeping track of this. It's really important. Society needs to know. So Jonathan comes over. We find out that they're college buddies. He's potentially Brad's agent. Brad, of course, he's got the piano, so he's a songwriter. And they're working together on this Broadway, potentially Broadway-bound show. Jonathan makes himself right at home, pours himself what I would like to refer to from now on as a 59 of scotch. We saw Carrie do this in North by Northwest in Chicago. I mean, we're talking like a tumbler, a large like orange juice glass worth of scotch. I mean, and these guys, at least he had some water in his. These guys are doing it just neat.
Straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Pours himself a 59 of scotch and talks about his lady problems a little bit. There's this lady. She keeps saying no. Look, we have the 59 of scotch here, just huge. And he also starts putting a bit of pressure on Brad of like, hey, Mr. Ladies Man, you should really try this. You should settle down, find yourself, pick one and stick with it. It's a great thing. He's done it 3 times. He ought to know, right? And Brad, of course, pours himself his own 59 of scotch and makes some metaphor about how he's a tree. And, like if you marry him, you chop his tree down. And I just want to be a tree. We have a different shot of the apartment. So we have to, again, do an ashtray count. And we have what looks like this one here, his piano ashtray. Good to know. I don't see anything on that table back there. And that seems to be it. We do, when he's drinking his 59 of scotch, we do see another one in the back. So that
well spotted.
Brings us a total of 9 ashtrays in Brad Allen's apartment. Again, a lot of seating areas, though. He's hosting a lot of parties.
Big place.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a killer apartment, I have to say. I mean, maybe it's not up your guys' alley, but like I would totally live in this. This is great. He's got a lot of contemporary art framed and hung on his walls, not even posters, this is real paintings. He's got bookshelves with real books on them. So Jonathan leaves. He also leaves without finishing his scotch. It's really hard to say. I was really concerned about that. This is a pet peeve of mine when I watch a film. People sit down, order a meal, and then immediately abandon that meal. It's so sad. Yeah. So sad. So I'd like to think that maybe during one of the edits, he just pounded that scotch and then headed back out to his day. So Jonathan leaves. Brad calls Jane and just sort of like, because he sort of pieces it together at this point that like, oh, wait a minute. This lady that Jonathan is into, because Jonathan's like, yeah, and there's some bozo who she shares a party line with. And he's like, hey, I think I might be that bozo. So he, being the sort of the real rake that he is, the scoundrel that he is, he calls her up and he asks her out. Because fuck you, Jonathan. This is male friendship at its finest.
These are the kind of friends everyone needs to have, right?
Absolutely.
Someone that's going to steal your lady out from under you.
That's right. Those are your nearest and dearest. There's no honor amongst thieves, so on and so forth. She says, hell no. She's like, absolutely not. So then we cut to one of Brad's dates. This is Marie. She is from the deep south of the United States. And again, this date reveals 1, 2, 3 more ashtrays.
What?
9, 10, 11. We have 12. We have a count of 12 ashtrays at this point. Excuse me. I misspoke. 13 ashtrays. Guys, Don't sleep on the ashtray up on the shelf here. I told you to watch the shelves. It's behind the lamp. And I was watching this hidden ashtray. It appears and disappears and reappears periodically throughout the film. So sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. So he's doing a lot of mobile smoking too. Not only he might be carrying the ashtray around with him potentially. It's tough to say. Anyway, he's got this red hot date in front of a fireplace. He's got a fireplace in this apartment.
Noticed the fire.
Exposed brick fireplace.
Move in.
Wow.
And from there, we kind of cross-cut to see what Jan's up to. She is in what I like to call the bluest room ever. She's visiting Mrs. Walter, who is a client of hers. We look at the foyer here. In this, would we call this a Tiffany blue kind of thing?
Oh, like duck egg.
Duck egg, yeah, very nice. Or a robin's egg even.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, I was being pummeled with the color here to a point where like it was shocking. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, okay, this is very blue. But then the camera pans over to the left and we get this like vivid blue bust of Queen Victoria. I have no idea who this is.
No idea.
And I was like, oh, that's shocking. And then they keep panning. Oh, there it is in the foreground. Full display. Double busts. Bright. Well.
Well, and this is her client, so this would have been a house that she would have decorated.
Great point.
Absolutely.
She is now visiting decisions she made for somebody else on somebody else's
So I
dime.
would say she is quite successful if she is not just renovating offices and apartments in Manhattan, but, you know, doing interior design for entire homes, estates in Scarsdale.
So Mrs. Walter, she's going to go home. She's going to go back down to the city. And Mrs. Walter says, hey, you know what? My idiot son, Tony, can give you a ride.
Oh my God. Octopus boy.
This kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
he needs to be put away.
So Tony drives Cruella DeVille's car and he's like, yeah, I'll give you a ride home. He's 21, something like that. He's a Harvard man. And he, we don't get to that.
That really speaks well for Harvard men.
Well, she throws that in his face. Yeah. So, okay. So to lay this scene out, he generously offers to give her a ride back to the city. The price, her body. So, and he then sexually assaults her in the front seat of his Cruella DeVille car.
Yeah, I would have had him arrested.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He's probably going to try to rape her, right? Like he's assaulting her for sure.
She is saying many times in this
like
movie that all the male characters should be arrested for assault of some kind.
Yeah.
Most of it sexual assault.
Yeah.
Oh, they're totally out of line.
And her only defense is good humor.
Right. Your mother would be
charm.
so disappointed. You're a Harvard man. Just take me home. I mean, she's in an impossible position. It's his car. She's out in the middle of fucking nowhere, Scarsdale. I got to get home. This is, again, one of my clients, the son of one of my clients. Paid me a lot of money. Like, I got to maintain this professional relationship. And he lunges, I counted the lunges 6 times.
Yeah.
6 different times where she says clearly, stop it. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then boom, goes in again. And it's comedy. Like, it's played off in the film as comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And her reaction, her jokes to try and escape from the situation.
Yeah. Diffuse his boner,
whatever. Exactly.
His weird young man rage boner that does not let him relent.
And he's no longer a Harvard man because he's on holiday.
Oh, that's
so
right. Yeah. It's
anything.
Cool. What happens out of Harvard stays out of Harvard.
To our modern eyes, especially in post Women's Lib, post Me Too, post everything, we're watching it like this is totally wildly inappropriate. Horrific. And this would have, I think, absolutely, like, women probably would have been chuckling in the theater too because they'd be like, oh, yes.
Oh, I must remember that line.
Yeah.
That's been used on me.
The next time I'm in a corner.
Yeah. And again, and we kind of talked about this off air a little bit too, but, I kept watching this thinking this came out the same year as North by Northwest, which comes off to my eyes as a much more contemporary film. I mean, at this point, when we hit this scene, it's like, what? Where are we? This is so old. It feels so old. I know it's not. I know this continues to happen today.
But this would have been generational differences, because how old is Mrs. Walters? She's from a different generation than your Jan Morrows and your, Brad Allens.
She's going to the auction in Chicago that Cary Grant got thrown out of to buy all those filigreed golden picture frames and whatnot. Like she's the audience for that.
What we forget is that everyone in this time period, just like any time period you're looking at, there are people that are aging out of it. There are people being born into it. There are people like living their best lives in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole spectrum of behaviors and cultures and whatnot. So, Tony is a young, affluent white man in 1959, United States of America.
And the world is his oyster, and he can do, frankly, anything.
Exactly. It's what his dad fought the war for, most likely, Hello. Sorry to interrupt this quality programming that you are engaged with right now. I hope it's going well for you. I think it's sounding okay. But did want to redirect you real quick to our TeePublic merchandise store. If you want to support us, independent podcasters that we are, please check out our stuff and buy a thing. Today, I'm going to direct you to it's an image we call the time train. We can see a bunch of monochromatic people from the era that we're studying right now, traveling through time in their magical time train. Magic, please. It's science, you guys. Hard science. Time travel is. Anyway, you can get this incredible image on, let's say, any color, any size, any garment you can think of. Let's say a lavender hooded sweatshirt. That's the one for you. You want it. It is the middle of summer. Who doesn't need a hooded sweatshirt during this time of year? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess you can probably have a tank top or a t-shirt or whatever if you're having trouble regulating your temps. I get it. Anyway, it is on our store. The link is in our show notes. Go check it out. Help us out. And then we will thank you profusely. In fact, let me do it right now. Hey. Thank you. Back to the show. Tony, meanwhile, is hammered and he's like, Jan Morrow, you're the greatest. And so he's shouting her name all over the place. And Brad, who is in his, boring date with Marie, he hears that he knows Jan Morrow and he's like, huh. And he's taking a look and he finally spots her. And he is into her, I guess.
He realizes that,
she's
his
a
friend's
fox.
name? Jonathan. Yeah. Jonathan was right. She is an absolute fox.
Yes, and he spots her. She is, Tony wrangles her over to the dance floor and there's some drunken dancing. And Brad gets a nice long shot of her caboose as she moves across the dance floor. We get a little inner monologue from him. The minute you tell her who you are butt dead. Shrishma loves it. So Brad concocts this. This is where the sociopath mind comes into play. And he's like, you know what? I would really like to sleep with this woman I know hates me. How can I get this done? Think, Brad, think. And Marie is talking. And he's like, I got an idea. Southern gentleman. Here's the deal. And he adopts this new persona, that of Rex Stetson. And he becomes a cowboy. He becomes his character from Giant, basically. And it's a real howdy, ma'am, nice to see you. And, I'm just a country boy. And
in the big smoke.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Boy, these buildings sure are tall. So he comes over.
All these people?
Yeah, right. Boy, it sure makes a country boy like me feel uncomfortable. So Brad / Rex goes over to Jan's aid and, picks Tony up off the floor and kind of gets him out of there and is like, ma'am, I'm going to take you home. And she's fine with it.
She's more than fine with it.
Yeah, she's into it. She sees this tall drink of Texas water and she's like, yeah, I'm all about this. Wait a minute. Maybe I would like a guy. This man And he is really like sinking his teeth into this Southern guy routine. I mean, it really is like, oh boy, wow, I really couldn't ride a horse down this street. Just stupid shit. Like it's over the top. And she is
Just laying it on
fine with it. So and we get a little comedy regarding Tony's Cruella de Vil car, and like Brad's too tall to get in there. Pardon me, Rex is too tall to get in there, so he's got his leg hanging out or whatever.
I feel like this scene was actually like I laughed.
You enjoyed you enjoyed the physical comedy aspect of it.
I did like a ha-ha to this one.
He's willing to make himself a fool.
Right.
Yeah.
To the
True.
And she is charmed. She likes it, and they do have chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They are a nice fit. Other than the fact that he is lying about everything.
Yeah, he is lying through his teeth.
Fucking everything. So he takes her home, and she invites him in for coffee, and he's like, "No, ma'am. That doesn't fit this stereotype I'm currently operating in. So I will not do it. That's not how I would do it on my
He is playing her
ranch.
Like a fiddle from
Mm-hmm.
every angle. And I mean, even when he gets on the phone later as Brad and like he just...
Oh my God.
I'm so astounded at them getting together at the end of this film. Like how can she... Relationships are built on trust. How can
everything you've told me is a lie?
Yeah, exactly.
Everything you told me is a lie.
And you were willing to take that all the way.
Yeah, like only when.
Yeah,
we'll get to, okay. Let's not get ahead.
Yep.
All right, but I can't wait to get to that point though. Let's talk cozy. Let's talk Jonathan's place in Connecticut, right?
Canoodling. This is canoodling.
Absolutely.
They're smooching and having a great time. And then, it's getting a little hot and heavy. And Brad's like, you know what, Rex, excuse me, the fire's almost dead, which is not true at all. It is clearly raging away.
Just roaring.
But he wants to lay some wood in.
He wants to sling some lumber, if you will. So,
it's going to be a long evening.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, meanwhile, goes over to goes to Jan's apartment, and she's crazy. She's not home. Jan's not home. I want to go talk to Jan. She's almost my possession. I want to go see the thing I almost possess. And the doorman totally narcs on everybody. He's like, oh, well, she's going to Connecticut. He's like, my Connecticut?
Yeah.
Very upset. So... Again, I think we get the pot-bellied stove line again, something like that.
He does. Oh, look, more ashtrays.
Yeah, so let's do an ashtray count from this point of view. So we have, we had one on the back table. We have two. Is this an ashtray? What is?
Oh, no, I think that's a champagne
glass.
That's a glass.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, 3. We have the covered one again. Very popular.
The cigarette box is on there. As
The
well.
ciggy box over here. 4. And I think there's another. I want to say this is an ashtray too over here. That might be 5. We'll keep an eye out for 5. We get another view. There's it has a nice like bar area. There's, let's say that's officially number 5. And then number 6 over here, there's another ciggy box. That makes 3.
We probably don't have as many in Connecticut because you should be outside enjoying.
You're smoking outside. Yeah, sure. So only 6?
Just saying.
I mean, a moderate amount of ashtrays in the Connecticut house. Then what happens is, when Jonathan is packing Brad to go up to Connecticut, he's like, here, take your music. I need you to write these songs. Somehow this doofus drops some of his sheet music on the ground. He picks it up. He does the worst job of hiding it.
He tucks it into his coat.
In his coat. He steps outside to go sling that lumber, right? And then she immediately gravitates to the jacket, puts said jacket on, finds the sheet music he was trying to hide. And here we have the big reveal.
Well, she puts it on the piano and she's like, no. She's trying to figure out what the tune is. And then the penny drops.
Yes, because she recognizes the same tune that her jackass party line co-sharer has been singing to
multiple ladies.
Yeah.
Just change the name.
Around the globe, yes. And, the movie does a pretty good job here of like, turning this music cue into a storytelling device. So there's like this weird moment when he comes back in with an arm full of lumber, and she's got it figured out. Like, and he hears her playing it, and then it all clicks together, and they realize
ding noise.
Yeah, there's that, and then the theme becomes a sort of country western. There's like a strumming guitar, like campfire guitar, and then the sound of his boner deflating, which is mirrored in the sound of an accordion being like wah, 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 wah. She goes into the bedroom, drapes herself in furs as she is wont to do, grabs her matching luggage set, and the theme comes out in this big sort of like stomping out march, dun 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 dun. And I just also wanted to point out that there are surfaces. That is an ashtray. I thought this wasn't an ashtray. I guess it is an ashtray. But this one here, this is a surface with no ashtray. I just want, it can be done, right?
But it does look like it might have some sort of trophy cup from an equestrian event.
It does indeed.
Okay.
So
just saying.
And we do see signs of, well, this is a pastoral scene. There's no horse to be found here, but all clues point to this living some kind of horse life. Jonathan's horse escape. Anyway, she takes off. She's about to take off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When who should show up but Jonathan, who has bent the laws of time and space to reach Connecticut shortly after they reached Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut is not that far. It's like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, okay. Fair point.
So they would have had 45 minutes
canoodle time.
to canoodle.
Yeah.
And then if he hadn't shown up, or if she wasn't leaving, if they hadn't made this discovery, then he might have interrupted some sexy time. But it's not that far.
Yes, in flagrante, right? So,
right.
But he comes in and he's like, "That's not Rex Stetson. That's Brad Allen." She's like, "I know, Jonathan. Take me away from this cretin."
And then she sobs in the car.
She
for 45
sobs.
minutes on the way home.
Carolyn, she is a woman, so she is prone to emotional outbursts that she has no control over, and this is why we don't put her in charge of the nuclear arsenal, right? It's easy. Obviously, hey, listener, I'm being facetious here. It's a part we're playing here.
Because man babies are a better option to be in charge of nuclear power.
Preferably old and white man babies. So Brad then starts scheming with Jonathan about how he's going to win her heart. And Jonathan is loving it because she fucking hates you, friend. The way this plays out is he calls Perot's interior design. Perot is like, "I know you, Brad Allen. I listen to Jan. She's talking about what a dick you are all day.
I can't take your business.
I refuse. I refuse." Jan, again.
You've lied to her, 7 ways till Sunday.
Yeah. And Jan, to her credit, again, way too good for the 50s. Let's just come out and say it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Way too graceful and classy for the 50s is like, you know what, Perot, you're my boss. This is business.
You shouldn't lose business over this.
I will do it. He's like a virus. Once you've had it, it's out of your system.
I'm inoculated.
Right. She shows up at his apartment. He feigns surprise that she should be the one to show up because he's a compulsive liar and sociopath again. And she runs into his creep switches, the door lock rapey switches, and the bed unfolding and the music and she is not amused, We then eventually get to see the results of this redecorating.
Revenge decorating.
Well put. So, Brad's probably takes that hotel room that he rented for his twisted schemes and stays there while she's doing his room. And we'll take a look at it here in the office. And it's, how would we describe this?
This is the apartment that Mardi Gras threw up in.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Green, pink, purple, blue. It's hideous.
Neoclassical sculptures over here.
And the carpet up the stairs.
Oh, that's right. We got like red carpet up the stairs. So he is outraged. And what's the next logical step? Well, I'm going to walk across town to this lady's apartment. I'm going to kick her door down and I'm going to kidnap her. And
I'm going to physically drag her out of bed.
He drags her he walks into her apartment, right into her bedroom.
He passes a police officer.
Oh, yeah.
Who does nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is normal.
They pass Kelly, the policeman, who, and she's like, "Officer, this man is taking me to his apartment." And he responds as any good police officer would by saying, "Well, I can't say I blame him, man." And it's fine. Guys, it's totally fine because he knows Brad. So if you know the person who's doing the kidnapping, legally, everything's fine. Everything is fine about this. And he takes her into the apartment. He's like, what does he even say here? Like, you deal with this too. You move in and live with it. Like, what's he say?
You have to carry the bride over the threshold. And this is when she starts going, bride. Okay, and then she loses all reason and stops being mad at him because he wants to make an honest woman of her and marry her.
Yeah. Now's the time.
He has done nothing but lie to her and assault her. And yet she's still, all it takes is like the mention of wedding bells.
Exactly.
And she's ready to walk down the aisle.
Well, don't forget the fact he's very tall. Okay.
Yeah. He is 6'6". That does not come along very often.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a liar.
He's a compulsive liar, pathological liar. Marry that man. He's a dreamboat.
Hold on. You're missing the part where she locks him in the apartment.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
He says.
I was so checked out at this point, you guys.
Does he throw her on the bed?
Yeah. He does.
Throws her on the bed, and he says he's like, why do men destroy themselves? Because they think they're getting married.
And then she's like, he does love me.
What every woman longs to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
You will be my undoing.
Yeah. And then he goes to storm out, and then she flicks the switch.
She locks him in. She flips the switch.
Right.
And then they both go,
oh, that's right. It's our song that you manipulated everybody with. I love you. Guys, I don't like this movie. We have to crawl back through the window of time. We've reached the end of the program here in our travels through time and space. And we're at the final question here. This is what this show is all about, really, is do we keep watching this? Catherine, what do you think?
I think yes, as an educational tool, like sex ed. Like, this is what not to
Things
do.
not to do.
Absolutely.
A cautionary tale.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And ladies, don't fall into this trap.
Yeah. Okay.
Or take any of this shit.
Okay. All right. This makes, okay, I love it. Shrishma, what do you think?
No.
You just, I mean,
it was
you said no to North by Northwest.
Right,
so.
I did. And I think this might be a trend, but I just couldn't watch it. Like, it was so painful to watch. Like,
can you give me a little insight into your experience? Like, how long did it take you to watch this movie?
It took me 3 times, like over 3 cities.
3 chunks?
Like, I'd watch it and I'd fall asleep, or watch it and I'd get distracted. So it took me 3 times to watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
And the end, I was like, did she just fall? But it also reminds me very much of some of these Bollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Very similar storylines. So I guess you can say I'm used to it, but I was like, damn, what a dumb movie. Like, that's all I felt.
I guess the thing is, there were no like great songs and like dance scenes.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, maybe back in the 1950s, they didn't have like too much to make movies about. So they were just like, we'll have a phone line.
Sure. I mean, it's a device. People still love love, and we can do it with these. Again, Carolyn, you brought it up at the top of the show. Just call it Party Line. Right. What are we doing here?
Right.
What is this?
Would have been a great name for a movie. Party Line.
But Pillow talks saucier, right?
It
maybe promises something that actually didn't really happen. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. Party Line has a party right in it.
Could have gone either way.
I'm just trying to think of if we could shuffle them, like Pillow Line or something like that. But we cannot, so we will not. Carolyn?
Party talk.
Oh, yeah.
Carolyn, do we keep watching this?
I'm inclined to agree with Catherine, especially in terms of a tool of what not to do and what not to accept.
I understand that point of view, and I respect it. And you guys have 2 votes. I'm going to split the votes, though, because I'm going to say a hard no on this one, if only because there's got to be a better version of this movie. I think, they made a few of these. We talked about it. One of these must be a little bit better than this. This is
probably
lies, deceit, assault, repeated assault.
Yeah.
And we can't. Yeah, yes, as a teaching tool, like, this needs to be heavily annotated if ever shown again. And maybe it's like a curiosity of like, this was fine, but also, I mean, like, I'm not showing this to anybody.
I did like Down with Love, the 2000s Renee Zellweger, Ewan McGregor version because it was a great update.
Yeah, it takes the piss out of this.
They kind of addressed, and it kind of addressed some of the issues.
I didn't finish that one.
Down with Love. Did you try it?
I tried it, but I couldn't finish it.
It's very similar to the in spirit.
Right.
Rape switches and all.
Wow.
Right.
Guys, it's the end of the show. But next week? No, it's premiere week, guys. What are we talking about here?
Woo!
Tomorrow, we're going to be watching, not to, influence anybody's thinking or whatever. It's a personal favorite. I enjoy it. I know I enjoy it. This one I hadn't seen in a long time. I do not enjoy this.
Okay.
Love North by Northwest. Thumbs down on Pillow Talk. In my mind's eye, it's thumbs up for War of the Worlds.
Okay.
1953.
Ooh, yes.
War of the Worlds.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, as ever, you can always get in touch with us at, we'll figure out whatever the address is, the email. We'll figure it out later. We want to hear from you. What did you think about Pillow Talk when you watched it? We need to know that we are not alone in this world and that this is truly psychotic entertainment.
We'd like to have a party line with our audience.
Carolyn, you're a pro. You're a pro. Yeah. I cede my position as the host. It's all you.
So we're going to call it. It's going to be a party line. That's going to be that section.
We want you to have a party line with us.
We're getting on the party line.
Listen, write us at oldmovietimemachine.com.
.com.
Or whatever. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we want to hear from you how crazy you thought this was. Or maybe you thought it was normal, and then we will judge you accordingly. And so concludes another episode of Old Movie Time Machine. Thank you so much for hanging in there and listening to this. If you enjoyed the Pillow Talk that you were just listening to, understand that there is so much more of this available to you over at the Boom Room. It's our Patreon, where for $2 Yankee dollars a month, you can get the uncut versions of all the episodes that we put out on the main feed. And that is serious business because we talked about Pillow Talk for, not unlike North by Northwest, 2.5 hours. That's right. So you're getting more than twice the show that you just listened to here, over there. For just $2. This would be the time to do it because it's premiere week. You're getting 5 episodes this week. It's insanity. I don't know why we made this decision, but the decision has been made and we're doing it. So please cash in on our mistakes right now. Check out the Boom Room over on the Patreon. The link is in the show notes as ever, as is the link to our email. It's partyline@oldmovietimemachine.com. Check in with us. Let us know what you thought about the show today. Let us know what you thought about Pillow Talk. Was it grossly offensive to you? Or were you like, yeah, this is right. This is my sweet spot. Hey, no judgments here. You let us know. And then tomorrow we're talking about the War of the Worlds, the original 1953 version, that is. And if you want to watch that, you can find it for streaming, renting, and buying at the following locations. We're talking Prime Video, Paramount Plus, Epix, DirecTV, AMC Theater On Demand, Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft, and probably other places. But I mean, guys, if you can't find it after me listing all those off, I don't know what to do with you. I mean, you need to learn how to use the internet. Figure it out. It's out there. But please, you want to watch it because we're talking about this tomorrow. So get it right now, and we will see you then. Until next time, this has been Old Movie Time Machine.